Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and this is one that honestly should be no surprise. For, for everything that the media just harps on about Donald Trump, the one thing they can't deny is that he will boast about his accomplishments. And for the most part, it's well deserved. The man turned $1 million into a $4+ billion empire. Now, keep in mind, he was loaned $1 million by his father, a very successful businessman. He then turned his $1 million into quite a bit more, paid back the loan, and then turned that into a $1 billion company. Now, recently, the New York Times somehow managed to attain tax returns from 1985 to 1994, 10 years, where, surprise, surprise, Donald Trump was losing money. Now, the problem with this is that the New York Times recently portrayed this as Donald Trump hides his failings, and he's hiding his tax returns because he doesn't want you to know he's horrible with money. But read the article. Donald Trump put out a video years ago where he actually crowed about being in debt and getting out of it. In fact, if we look at this, in 1995 in October, the New York Times ran a story calling him the comeback king. I've talked about this before. Prior to Donald Trump mentioning politics and saying he would run against Hillary Clinton in 2016, liberals loved him. Barack Obama said the American dream is to be Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton said she wants to see someone like Donald Trump because he can't be bought or controlled. Kathy Griffin smiled widely, enjoying herself at one of his parties. Hollywood flocked to beg for invitations. They wanted him on their TV shows. But as soon as he came out into 2016 and ran as a Republican against their paragon of politics, Hillary Clinton, he was suddenly the spawn of Satan. But if you look at the 1995 article, though there are still 4 years to go in the 1990s, business and government leaders in New York honored Donald J. Trump yesterday for pulling off what they called the comeback of the decade. Mr. Trump, the developer who came to epitomize opulent wealth during the 80s before tumbling too deep into deep financial trouble, has managed to erase much of his debt and is moving ahead with major projects at a time other developers are idling. Yes, barely 20, or just over 20 years ago, the New York Times hailed Donald Trump as the comeback king. But when they got a hold of his tax returns after the DNC ordered them to hate him, he was lying about it. He was hiding it. Except they themselves reported on it in 1995. They're harping on this because they have nothing else. There is no federal law requiring the release of tax returns in order to run for or serve as president, although California is bucking the trend by saying you must do so to be on their primary. Now, this will ultimately be fought, and I'm hopeful that the people of California will wake up and realize that Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Dianne Feinstein, Maxine Waters, Eric Swalwell, and so many more care nothing for the citizens of that state. They care more for milking the federal government for every dollar they can and inviting as many illegals as possible into their state to vote for Democrats. So I'm hoping before too late Californians will wake up and buck the trend and turn the state red again, or at least elect people who realize, yes, I'm a Democrat, but I'm here for the citizens. So if it manages to stand through the primary, honestly, I hate popcorn. Honestly, I don't think it will hurt Donald Trump at all because those who voted for him in 2016 and those who were planning to vote for him in 2020, 99.9% or more, will write in his name. Other states are trying to say that we don't care for the Electoral College. The latest example, Nevada. I'm hoping Nevadans wake up and realize their state government has just said, we don't care what the people of Nevada say, we care what other states say. And ultimately, I feel the next year and a half, 2 years, is going to see a lot of politicians who've had decades in office, several who've only just entered using the same tactics as those who've had decades in office, kicked out and told, you serve American citizens. Period. For crying out loud. The 26th Amendment literally says American citizens 21 years of age or older, 18 years of age or older, may not be denied the right to vote. Yet, we have people who serve in Congress who don't understand that, but they don't understand a lot of things. This is, to me, proof, almost 100% in stone proof, that the Democratic National Committee controls 99% of the media. And I say 99 because they're digging their claws into Fox News with Donna Braziel and others being hired on. You see, in 1995, the New York Times reported Donald Trump as the comeback king, having been in debt and dug himself out of it. And just 20 years later, worth $4+ billion with a B dollars. But you see, when it was more prudent to report him as hiding his financial failings, that's what they did. You can see here in the second to last paragraph, Newt Gingrich is pointing out that Donald Trump has the best lawyers and accountants because Donald Trump knows one thing. The IRS will claw at you like a demon if you owe them a penny. I can attest to this fact, having seen acquaintances of mine all but financially ruined, all but left living in gutters, and then told, you still owe us money. Go get a job and starve while you work because we're going to take 100% of your earnings. Luckily, they were able to find good people to help them, but the IRS cares nothing for your life, only your money. And Donald Trump knows this. He has become accustomed to a very opulent lifestyle. So he hires people to make sure that everything is above board, on the up and up, as they say. Now, with the recent decision by a Obama appointee liberal judge that banks can defy their account holders and hand over information, I'm honestly waiting for Deutsche Bank US to be sued into oblivion. Any other bank that decides, oh, fine, we will defy the president's explicit wishes as our customer and hand over information because Donald Trump's lawyers will be loosed like the hounds of hell. He will also pull every dime he has in their institution out and go to other banks. Imagine if you were the CEO president of Wells Fargo. You have an account holder worth $4 billion. You cross him and, against his wishes, release his personal and private information. He then comes to you. I want a cashier's check. Now. For 100% of the money I have in this establishment. What are you going to say? No, I have a right to keep your money? That man would then hire armies of attorneys to say, give me everything. Now imagine that once that's done and you've destroyed a bank who illegally released your information, you then walk across the street to Bank of America. They already know what happened. When you say, I'd like to open an account, will you keep my confidence? What do you think the new bank will say? It's very simple. Donald Trump, until 2016, was a private citizen. In fact, he still is a private citizen. He simply holds a public office. Being elected to the presidency does not void your Fourth Amendment rights, although the Democratic National Committee would like to see that happen. So it's going to be very interesting to watch as the Trump lawyers have a field day with anyone who decides, yes, we said we would hold your information in confidence, but we lied. And it's going to be very interesting to see if anyone says, hey, New York Times, 24 years ago you hailed Donald Trump as the comeback king. Now you're suggesting that's not true. What changed in 24 years? I'd love to actually get an answer from the Times on that. I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Just keep them civil. We don't learn from argument, we learn from debate. As always, please remember to like and share this video, as well as to subscribe so that you are the first to know of any new content as it is posted by notifications. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.